Hi, it's Mr. Rowe. Today I'm going to show in detail how I make my director's chair. And I've been making these chairs for about 6 years now. Lots of different frame colors and styles. They're all made with a thick buffalo hide, but there's many different colors you can get it in as well. I've done bar height stools, kitchen island height stools, dining chairs, even this rolling desk chair, backless stools, um, and I've shipped them in all over North America, well, USA and Canada. I haven't shipped to Mexico yet. And I should mention that all of this beautiful leather is done by Benchcraft Leather in Kitchener.
Shout out to you guys!
So I use oval tubing to make these chairs, and this is my check piece. I have one extra that I keep all the time to make sure that I'm bending at the right curve. So the first thing I do is run one tube in my jig. I'll explain it a little bit better later. But I just want to run one tube and check it with my master bent tube, just to make sure I have this jig all set up correctly. That's a bingo! Nice playlist there, big guy. There are 8 arm curve pieces per chair and 2 armrests. So I made this jig to do 3 different height chairs. So this is the hinge point in the middle. This is the leg, the lower leg, and then this is the upper arm here. So if it's a dining chair, I cut it off here. If it's a kitchen island height, which is a little bit lower than a bar, I cut it off here, and then this is the bar. So that little bit gets cut off for a bar height. And obviously there's more waste depending on what size it is. But that way I just have one bend to make, top and bottom, same bend. And then for the top, because I need miters for the armrests. These armrests. This is for kitchen counter and bar height. I either cut this way or this way because there's right and lefts. And for the dining chair, the relationship between the hinge and the armrest is higher. So there's the 2 different ways, this way, that way, or that way. So that way it's one jig, does everything. So clear. So I'll explain the weld jig a little bit later for the legs, but first I have to bend all of the curve pieces. And I made this jig here. They have to be exactly the same every time, or the arms won't fit into the weld jig later. I made it out of this. It's a pipe bender that you would get at, say, like Princess Auto or Harbor Freight. This is what it looks like right here. So I basically bought it for the dies, and then I put it in my hydraulic press here. You can see me doing this is for another job. You can watch that video. And the dies I can use for multiple jobs. I picked the largest die that I figured I would rarely use and modified it to do this oval tube. So I can set this up with the rollers and do regular pipe, but I made these special end locators. I guess they're swiveling locators, so the pipe is in exactly the same spot every time. And after all of those are bent, I need to make the center hinge piece, which I'm setting up here in my punch press. It's a piece of flat bar with a 1/2 inch clearance hole in the middle, and that will create the pivot for the center of the legs. So everything positively locates in this jig because, like I said before, if there's any variation, it won't fit into the weld jig, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I just flattened down the oval to the flat bar a little bit here, makes it a little bit nicer weld. So from experience, trust me, it's really easy to cut in the wrong spot on this jig, and especially making sure that you have the same amount of right and left legs. The side of the bandsaw blade is registering on the side of the 1-inch solid bars there. So there you go, we have 8 of each, right and left hand arms, because I'm making, there's 2 per bar stool, and I'm making 4 bar stools for a fellow in BC, Terrace, BC. And I have a little jig, same idea, to cut the miters for the armrests. They have to be mitered on both ends. So the 2 legs on the front and the back are identical. There's a right and a left. And other than the miter at the top, they're all the same leg, like I think I've already explained, but just in case you weren't clear. And right here I am inserting, those are the positive stops, the dead stop, so the hinge only opens exactly the right distance. That is a fantastic look you have there. Now I go around and tack everything in place so I can rotate the jig. As you can imagine, there's welds at every possible angle, and it's a lot easier to do them from above. But Mr. Rowe, how are you going to get it off of the weld jig after you've welded it? You'll see. This is actually the one end of a car rotisserie. I used to be into Volkswagen Carmanguias, and there was a car rotisserie being repurposed. like that. Magic. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up the welds and spatter and then getting them powder coated and mounting the leather. Thanks for watching.